Welcome to the I Am One podcast. On today's episode, we're sitting down with the incredible Sarah Kotranza, currently serving on PSI's board of directors, where she focuses on legal justice and policy and advocacy. Driven by her own lived experience, Sarah has been a passionate voice at the intersection of perinatal mental health and policy since 2013. We'll chat about her journey through postpartum depression after the birth of her son, how community and treatment helped her not just survive, but actually enjoy motherhood, and why she's so committed to making sure legal professionals understand perinatal mental health disorders. As a bonus, we also chat about her thoughts on self-love, music as meditation, and letting yourself not have everything figured out. So without any further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode with our friend, Sarah. Sarah, welcome to the podcast studio. How exciting is this? We're real excited. We're not ready, though, for you yet. Hang on just a second. Despite spending time with you for a quick early morning walk or a 6 a.m. yoga session during the PSI conference, neither Emily or I have ever sat down with you and asked you all kinds of personal questions about your lived experience with perinatal mental health complications, ... See what I'm doing here? Foreshadowing. Listen, I'm a podcaster, okay? I'm building suspense. So it goes without saying that we are thrilled to be here with you today because A, you're like super great to hang out with and stuff. And B, we're very curious to hear about what led you to where you are today and how you're involved with PSI and all that good stuff. So with that, I will pass the mic over and say thanks, Sarah, for being here.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm excited too.
Excellent. Well, shall we begin?
Sure.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Name, pronouns. Do you have kids? Where do you live? What is your social security number? What is your favorite pizza topping? Whatever the people need to know, tell us.
All right. I'm Sarah Kotranza. I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and it's beautiful right now, although it was frozen the past 2 days. Now we're back to fall, so it's wonderful. Have a little bear running around our neighborhood right now.
That's an actual bear, right?
Yes, actual baby bear.
Like a black bear?
Yeah. We think it lost its mama, which is kind of sad. But all my neighbors and we kind of want a mama. But, it's got to be a wild bear and not.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we're doing now as a neighborhood.
Oh,
Keeping track of this baby.
That's so fun.
Favorite pizza topping?
Oh.
Random. Black olive and pineapple.
Oh, snap. Black olive and pineapple.
I'm team pineapple.
Interesting. It's like salty and sweet.
Exactly. I'm a vegetarian, so I can't do ham and pineapple.
Right.
So I substitute the black olives.
That's great to know. I think we've probably asked Sarah all the most important questions. Emily, you want to take us out? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Thanks for a great... No.
Oh, and I forgot to say I have kids. So I have one child, my son. His name is Andrew, and he is 12, almost 13 years old now.
Oh, almost a teenager in the house.
Yeah. Taller than me now, too. It's really quite an interesting experience. Yes.
That's offensive.
Isn't it strange when you're like...
Parenting like this?
Yes.
You're like, you listen to me.
Right? No, I've always talked about as I've been parenting my child that I'm parenting him to understand that I'm the parent. So that way when he's taller than me, he'll still understand. And he does. So we're okay.
Nailed it.
Great.
Right?
Yeah. Good job, Sarah.
But yes.
Well, Sarah, could you tell us a little bit about what role perinatal mental health complications have played in your life personally, professionally, however you want to kind of dive right in? Let's do it. The water's warm.
So I got involved with perinatal mental health advocacy, let's say, because I personally experienced a perinatal mental health issue when I had my son. I had my son when I was 28, and I thought I had my life together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
At 28? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. My husband and I were engineers. We're like, we got this, we can do all the things. So my son was born back in December of 2012.
A December baby.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, so I thought I had my stuff together. I had heard about postpartum depression, but I was 28, so it couldn't happen to me.
You had it all figured out.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody? No, not at all. But that's okay. Interestingly enough, he was born the day after we get a call from our rental place saying, hey, we're selling your house in 6 months. So yeah, you're probably going to have to move. And I was like, okay, all right, we'll deal with that. Then about 2 weeks after he was born, I had 12 weeks off of work, thankfully.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we got to buy a house now. Let's figure that one out. So we house hunted while I wasn't working, bought a house, and we moved when my son was about 3 or 4 months old. So have a baby, buy a house, move. And then my job at the time was, depending on whether it was morning or afternoon, was an hour to an hour and a half away from our house.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Not working from home.
Not even close, because we're talking 2012, right?
What's that, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And I worked on an engineering floor, manufacturing circuit boards. So there is no working from home if you have to physically be with the circuit boards.
That's a good point, Sarah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Right. So I thought before baby, I'm like, I can do this. If I can do this pregnant, driving back and forth, vomiting in rest stop bathrooms because pregnant, fun, right?
Oh, no.
I can do this postpartum. Easy. Yeah. No. The answer is no. Can't do that because you're not sleeping.
Because you're like, now I'm not getting enough sleep. Commutes are awful. They're not very engaging, right? So you're just like, okay, how do I stay present to keep myself safe?
And awake.
And awake. Yeah. And because, type A, me, not drink caffeine because you're nursing the baby and the baby doesn't need caffeine.
Right. But you do desperately, perhaps. No judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. But the baby doesn't, right? So no caffeine.
You were so worried about him getting caffeine through breast milk that you were just like, nope, 0 caffeine.
Yes. So then started job hunting and got a new job. So baby's 5 months old, right? We've had a baby. Turned our life upside down.
Did you move far away?
No.
Okay, so there's one at least. You didn't have to learn a new grocery store, for the love of God.
No, it's actually the same grocery store, thank goodness.
That's a big deal when you're like, where's the cheese?
Well, that's true too, yeah.
If I don't know where the cheese is, then
That's it.
But the day we moved was the day after he got his 3-month vaccine shots.
oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh
right?
no.
That's the worst parenting day of that first whole 4th trimester. You're like, I'm going to be fine. I'm sleep deprived. This isn't great. And then suddenly they give this baby shots and they are fussy. And you're like, I am unqualified for this.
Whose idea was this?
Yeah, nobody slept the night before. I'm sitting on an exercise ball, bouncing my baby and directing people where to take my stuff. We had my brother help. Luckily, he lived there and with some friends. And I'm just directing these college students where to take my things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
2 hands, don't drop it.
Right.
It goes in there. 3rd door on the left.
3rd door.
So we moved. I changed jobs. And so every time we accomplish something, I wasn't doing very well, but I'm like, it's okay. Once we get this off our plate, things will be better.
Yes.
We'll move, we'll get settled, things will be better. I'll get a new job, I'll get settled, things will be better. Things weren't better. So I'd go to work, I'd make a mistake, not even make a mistake. I'd do something and then someone would be like, hey, can you change this one thing? And I'm like, oh yeah. But in my mind, mistake, world ending, the end of everything.
You're like, I am terrible at being an employee.
I'm a horrible person because I made a mistake, right?
Mm.
And so I remembered at that time, so my hospital for the first 12 weeks postpartum had this amazing mom-baby group where you could go once a week, you had lunch, and you could all talk about what was going on with baby or mom. And in one of those groups, one of the moms had mentioned for her first baby, she had had postpartum depression.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I remembered back to that and I thought, oh, okay, that's probably what's happening to me. So I emailed the woman that was in charge of that group and I'm like, hey, I think I'm dealing with postpartum depression. And in my mind, mental health, I need a therapist. I'm like, do you know any therapists that can help me? And she was like, maybe you should talk to your OB. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. Sounds great.
Right.
So I called their office and they called me back and I went in and they got me a therapist recommendation. And then I had like a 2-week follow-up in case, like seeing how things were going. 2-week follow-up, things were worse. Things weren't getting better.
How is it worse?
I was just miserable, basically. Like there wasn't joy. I wasn't enjoying parenting. I wasn't happy with myself. I knew I had to take care of this baby, but it felt more like a responsibility because I'm a very I decided to have this baby, therefore this baby is my responsibility and I have to take care of it.
Like only you? Nobody else?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, like my husband too, but also like I been through a lot of therapy in these past 12 years. But I very much am like, oh, I chose that, therefore my responsibility, and I better do a dang good job at it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, the end.
Are you like an eldest daughter or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Asking from 2 other eldest daughters.
100% eldest daughter.
Like, I am going to be awesome at this.
Yes, I don't fail at things. So, of course, I'm going to be great.
Insert white knuckles here, right?
Basically.
Exactly. So I go back and the midwife suggests going on medication. And, you know, my husband and I discuss it because I'm still breastfeeding and we decide it's a good idea. Go on medication. 2 weeks later, I suddenly realized why people actually liked being parents, because suddenly I didn't hate the world. I didn't hate myself. I didn't hate the situation. I was like, oh, things can be happy. Oh, this is why people like being parents, you know?
And so was that like about 6 or 7 months or something around there?
9.
Yeah.
So it was a long process. And unfortunately, it took me a while to figure it out. But I figured it out.
Well, because you kept thinking you had figured it out. Like you thought once you moved, and then you were like, this job and the commute is stressful, which was probably also true. Like you were just solving the next problem that cropped up.
Yeah.
Problem solver.
And thinking, okay, if I solve this problem, it'll fix things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even like taking medication and getting the therapy, there were still problems, right? Because stressors come up. Life happens. And I was just discussing this. My therapist said something. He said, there's a difference between treatment and like fixing or solving a problem. Like you don't have to fix it and make it perfect, right? You can just learn how to kind of like go with it and be okay with everything not being okay all the time.
Oh, that is hard though. Okay, I'll just be okay with things.
What is the other thing people say? Like sit with the discomfort. Like instead of being like hard pass and like running in the other direction, we're like, okay, I don't like this, but I will survive it. And there may be an opportunity for growth or whatever. Like if I just stay here.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and there's some places where you shouldn't sit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's times where you can also feel better, but there's still going to be discomfort in life. And so kind of trying to find that balance is a whole different. Because like I felt better about being a parent, but there were still times where it's hard and there's still miserable times. Like being up with a sick baby all night and not sleeping is not fun.
No.
Mm-mm.
Nobody likes that. But, you know, then there's days where baby's healthy and baby's happy and partner or parent, other parent or just mom is happy and everybody's doing okay. So it just depends.
And then they become teenagers.
Everything's going to be fine, Sarah.
Then they disappear into their room and you're like, okay, how do I get them out of this room?
I think turning off the internet works.
I've done that once or twice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I might need to flip. Oh, no.
So that's what led me realizing that, one, how prevalent perinatal mental health issues are, and two, because naively I thought this can't happen to me, and realizing, no, it can happen to anyone, whether you like it or not, or you prepare. It doesn't matter how much you prepare. It really doesn't. So that's how I got into this world.
Very cool. So how did PSI come into your life, as it were?
So after I started getting treatment and started to feel better, I got very involved in peer advocacy because being an engineer doesn't necessarily lend itself to the mental health world. got involved in advocacy and had a couple of road bumps there and decided to work on getting a master's of public health because a lot of my friends were doing social work degrees, and that's not where I belong at all.
You're like, I want to think about the system.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to people all day long. Is that what you're saying? I mean, so this is like a big... Sarah, thanks for being here with us, by the way, and peopling with us. I just want to say we really appreciate it.
It's more, don't ask me to talk about feelings.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's, I mean, because everybody, like, right, everybody's different, obviously. But, like, some people are really good with feelings. And, like, I'm learning. I have a lot of feelings. I just, have also found ways, good or bad, to logic through them as opposed to feeling feelings.
Oh, yeah. I love a good let's analyze why I feel this way instead of actually let myself feel this way. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm great at that.
Yes.
Yeah, working on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at a master's of public health and I thought maybe I want to do women's issues and not just perinatal mental health. And then every paper, every research project I did was perinatal mental health. And I'm like, all right, that's where I belong.
I get it, universe. Okay.
Yeah. So I contacted Wendy Davis, because PSI was a lot smaller then, right? It wasn't what it is now.
There were a handful of employees.
Exactly. So you contact the one in charge and be like, hey, you have a job?
Uh-huh.
No job? Okay. Can I volunteer? How can I volunteer? But not talking about people's feelings, like something else.
Yes.
And so then Wendy asked me if I might be interested in being on the board of directors for PSI. And I said, yeah, that sounds great. Well, actually, no. First, I asked, what does that mean?
Tell me more.
Before I indicate interest. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do I have to do? What do they do? And then I said, yes. Yeah, sure. That sounds great. I will do that.
And there's like a whole process. Like, it's not like you say yes and then you're on it. Like, you're like applying and interviewing. And like, it's not like you could just volunteer for that, right?
There's a nomination form and then you fill out a little application and then you do an interview with a couple board members and then the board votes on whether or not you can join. And then also there needs to be a spot open and there needs to be like the board looks for a variety of different like just diversity in general and then diversity of like careers or involvement.
Life experiences, skills.
Like they don't want 12 doctors on the board. They want like representation from providers and all the other things.
Yeah. I mean, a board of 12 therapists too, that would be really interesting, but and it'd be okay.
It would be. They'd be really good at that part.
Right. So, yes, a variety of people. So it has to work out that it makes sense to have you there. So anyway, so then I joined the board. I've been on the board for almost 3 years now. And so that's kind of how I got involved with PSI, although I've been involved in the climb too.
Yes.
Yes.
I ran climbs back in the day before it was a PSI climb.
That's how we met.
That's how we met.
We met the same weekend that I met Samantha Konikoff. Like, we all met in Atlanta.
Yes.
Oh.
And I was like, these are my people.
There were a lot of feelings there in Atlanta and in Boston. It was quite interesting.
I didn't go to Boston.
Oh, okay. But it was great to meet a ton of people who were like super passionate about the same things I was.
Yes.
I fundraised and ran a climb, and I still have friends from my local climbs that I met through that. And now I participate in my local climb.
You're like, I am now an attendee. Like, I have graduated from host to attendee. I love it.
I'll be there.
And for the board, I am involved in the policy and advocacy realm of it and legal justice.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what do we do?
For policy and advocacy, there's a lot of different areas where PSI is involved. For the policy aspect of it, Mind the Gap is the biggest. So it's a coalition of a bunch of different organizations. We meet once a month and have a speaker about whatever's happening policy-wise with perinatal mental health.
Is this like federal and state? Like, are you guys sort of covering all kinds of things or?
Sort of. It's more federally focused than state focused, but there's the state policy series.
That's true.
Yes. So state level, there is some work that's done. I feel like the meetings tend to be more federally focused because, like, for example, March of Dimes talks about what they're working on. And there's lots of different organizations. So we're just trying to kind of like make sure the legislation that is hopefully like needs to be passed and the funding, for example, the maternal mental health hotline, the Mind the Gap helped advocate and get more people behind advocating for that funding and working with MMHLA on that.
Yeah. So that was like then organizing, going and talking to like legislators, like representatives and senators and being like, please vote for this bill that's going to fund the hotline.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what MMHLA does is work on that lobbying and advocating.
Yeah.
In case anybody doesn't know, what does MMHLA stand for?
MMHLA stands for Maternal Mental Health Leadership Alliance, and it's run by Adrienne Griffin and Jamie Belcito, and they do a lot of work advocating on the Hill.
Yeah.
Yes.
For advocacy, PSI does a lot with the Climb. The Climb is a form of advocacy. The Blue Dot Project and Blue Dot Safe Spot is another way PSI is working to advocate for those dealing with perinatal mental health challenges.
Yeah.
And then every chapter, PSI has a chapter in every state and in Washington, D.C. now. A lot of the chapters have an advocacy lead, so we work with the chapters as well, and they tend to be on top of their state's legislation and what's needed in their states. So PSI Central can help support the chapters in their advocacy projects. So that's advocacy.
Very cool. So it's not all just laws. It's like raising awareness. It's putting people in the same place so that everyone knows what kind of supports are out there. Like it's all of those parts.
So the maternal mental health hotline is a thing, but if no one knows about it, what's the point?
Right.
So it's spreading awareness and helping people in their communities understand what's available and helping the states and federal level understand how perinatal mental health affects not only parents, but the children and the family structure, because that's how you're going to get funding.
Right.
Like to get funding, you have to show it has an economic effect, and you can easily make that case.
Right. Because they have ways where they can calculate like people who are untreated, there's an increase of other risk factors. And each of those things that is an increased risk factor, like food insecurity or needing a 504 or an IEP in school. I mean, it could be like I'm just pulling from a list. Those things cost money. So if there are ways to provide preventative care, everyone should be interested in that.
Exactly. And same with like missed work.
Right.
Right.
Which also affects the economy. Like it's not just the workforce, it's then the economy. Yeah.
And the child needing maybe some extra treatment later, or the parent needing treatment longer, or whatever the case may be. You can make that economic argument as well.
Totally. I like this nerdy stuff. This part's my jam.
Can you tell us a little bit about the legal justice part?
So the legal justice part came about because Mary and George Parnham started I love them.
Oh,
they're cool.
They started YCMF, which is the Yates Children Memorial Fund, based on George's defense of Andrea Yates, and he was able to get her a not guilty by reason of insanity for the tragedy that occurred when she unfortunately suffered from postpartum psychosis. So George and Mary have stayed friends with her. Mary visits her all the time. They have like a sleepover once a year. I don't know if the sleepover is the right word, but they do. She gets to go stay, and they make, Andrea makes aprons that she sells to raise money for PSI.
Because she's incarcerated, but she's not like in a high security situation.
She is in a mental health facility.
Ah, thank you.
She is in a government mental health facility. She's not in a like prison or jail situation, but she is in kind of like low security mental health facility. But she's able to make aprons and she makes cards and she's able to sell those to raise money for PSI. And so George and Mary wanted to do more because they were involved with Andrea and they saw what could happen and they thought, this isn't right. One, why is this happening and people aren't recognizing it? And two, these women shouldn't be legally punished for things that aren't in their control necessarily because it's psychosis. They're not of their sound mind.
It would be like blaming people for not being able to see far away if they're nearsighted. Like, give them glasses.
It'd be like blaming people for being sick.
Right.
So they started the Yates Children Memorial Fund, and then PSI kind of folded that into PSI. So currently, Elizabeth Lilly is running the legal justice part of PSI. And so what happens is sometimes people contact PSI who are having legal issues, whether it's criminal issues or civil issues. Civil issues, for example, child custody issues or trying to use perinatal mental health against you in a divorce.
Yep.
They contact us and we try to put them in contact with an attorney who could maybe help, or they get their attorney in contact with us and we are able to educate the attorney on perinatal mental health issues, which is helpful because they can bring that to court and kind of present that to the judge. And then also for criminal, we can put people in touch with expert witnesses. So there's a group of reproductive psychiatrists and psychologists that are willing to be expert witnesses in court. So we can put people in contact with those people regionally. And then finally, which isn't all they do, but the next big thing is training. So the goal is that PSI will create a training for attorneys and possibly judges.
Wow, that is cool.
Right, to help educate them on perinatal mental health issues. So one day, if they ever get a case that involves it, whether again it's civil or criminal, they can know kind of what was happening and maybe a better way of defending it, or at least who to contact to get more information and to get a better defense for their client. And if we educate judges, then possibly the judges may have a bit more empathy for those people who come in front of them, who have struggled with these issues, and then can recognize it better.
Wow. We haven't talked about that on the pod yet.
Well, now you have.
Thanks for deep diving with us. I'm sure we will eventually have an episode where we can ask Elizabeth Lilly more details about legal justice.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, we need to call Elizabeth.
Or Mary Parnham.
Yeah.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
All the podcast listeners are seeing behind the curtain where I'm making notes. I'm like, okay, great. I will be reaching out to. Yeah.
Yeah, George retired, so she's not paralegaling anymore, so she has time.
So you're saying she's got time?
Yep.
So Sarah said Mary's available. Cool.
That's what I heard. Okay, well, we know what you're doing to support folks now in the perinatal period. At least some of the things. Are there other things that you're doing? Anything else you got up your sleeve?
Most of what I do is through PSI, quite honestly. I mean, one day, maybe I'll do more in the legal realm.
Ooh.
Because of me, I've recently received my paralegal certificate. So I worked as a paralegal for about a year and decided I wanted more time at home. So I'm currently a stay-at-home mom, but I volunteer with my local legal aid foundation.
Cool.
I mean, once my son's older and so I have more time, I'm thinking about like possibly law school, and then I could.
Sarah, this is great. Oh my gosh. We're hearing it here first. Awesome.
And then I could, help with the legal aid or the legal justice end of things, maybe with the presentation some more. But I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? It could change again because, went from engineer to public health to law. So, I no longer know where it's going to go next. I'm just along for the ride.
You're going with the flow. That's great.
Yeah.
I think being along for the ride is a valuable skill.
Mm-hmm. It's hard for those of us who like to have a plan, but way to roll with it, Sarah.
Eventually you figure out the best laid plans are just like they explode anyway. So
yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Thanks, Hurricane Helene, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's hopefully the plan, or one day.
Well, we're going to have to follow up, see what happens. This is a to be continued podcast episode. I'm kidding.
I like it.
I should be around PSI for a while, hopefully. So,
Okay, cool.
That's the goal.
Is there anything that we did not mention that you would like to chat about, Sarah, before we jump into a very slow lightning round?
I don't think so. Oh, I remember. One thing I realized when I dealt with my perinatal mental health issues was that I had actually been dealing with mental health issues most of my life. I just had enough time and space to cope without needing extra help. And having a baby and being sleep deprived and having little time or space to yourself, if any at all for that matter, basically exploded all my coping mechanisms, which weren't necessarily healthy, but they were there, right?
They were working.
It was functional.
And then
12 years later, I've been in therapy off and on since my son was born. And recently, one of my therapists said to me, Sarah, I think maybe what you're dealing with is OCD. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Let's not.
la 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 la.
Let's put that aside for now, because we were dealing with some other stuff. What I've figured out, and I was talking to him about this like the other day, is it doesn't necessarily matter what the diagnosis is, right? Like what I figured out is probably the OCD was what's been affecting me the entire time. Whether it manifested as depression or anxiety and looked like that, it was due to these coping mechanisms I had put in place to have myself feel safe and comfortable because of the way my brain works, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't matter what we call it, right? Like I was talking to him, I'm like, I don't know if I had postpartum depression. I don't know if I had postpartum anxiety. I don't know if I had postpartum OCD. It could have been any of those or all of those or just one or, but it doesn't matter because what matters is that you get treatment that hopefully helps you feel better. And then maybe you can work on figuring out different coping mechanisms, or maybe you can figure out the root of what's happening and eventually get to a more clear space mentally about what your brain is doing or not doing. But also, it doesn't necessarily matter about figuring out exactly what the answer is. What matters is just figuring out a way to feel better and not be miserable.
Yes.
At least for me, that was the important part.
And usually it's not one answer. For you, it was a combination of things, which is what usually yields the best outcome. You had a combination of, getting on meds, you had therapy, you were attending a support group. Thank goodness that was available at your hospital for the first 12 weeks postpartum. So you had that peer support aspect as well, which is pretty incredible, having peer support and like seeing other people experiencing something similar at the same time as you. So
yeah, or even afterwards, like Emily and I were talking about how we met in Atlanta. It was a huge group of people who had struggled with perinatal mental health issues. And seeing other people who had been through the same thing was amazing. And hearing about new treatments is also amazing because there's some even better ones out there now. But, it's challenging to access everything or anything. But doing the best you can and finding what works for you is really like what's most important, and not necessarily finding the exact right label.
Yes.
Or trying to trade them out. Like I'm really good at negotiating. I'm like, if we're going to have this new one, what about this old one? Was that one that, or is it this new thing? Can we trade? No, apparently you can't, but I can keep trying. And I will. That was the thing I wanted to add.
Very good mic drop.
yeah.
All right. Shall we lightning round?
Let's do it.
What's your second favorite podcast? Because obviously we are the first favorite.
Of course. My second favorite, it's called The Emily Show.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh.
Emily D. Baker. She's a former attorney. Well, actually, she still currently has her bar and law license, but she was a prosecutor in LA County for like 17 years. Anyway, I love her because she does a combination of law and pop culture. And she loves reality TV, as do I.
Interesting.
Yes. So I listen to her podcast, and then when she's streaming live court, I fast forward through some things. I will watch 6 hours, 8 hours of court a day. I catch up on the weekends when there's no court. So yes, this is another reason why I think law might be a good.
It's what you want to do in your free time. It's what you're thinking about. Like,
Right. Exactly. So yes, the Emily Show with Emily D. Baker.
You should also check out Strict Scrutiny if you haven't.
I have. It is good too.
Yeah. I'm like, if you like that, you might like this. These lawyers are funny.
It's quite interesting. Yeah. I love it all. It's just I just like it. It's better than reality TV in some ways because it's actually more reality than reality TV. And some of those moments in court are like absolutely unhinged. It's quite interesting. So anyway.
Do you prefer watching it live?
I do. Like, I sometimes wish I could go. I mean, like, I've thought about going to the courthouse to watch.
Just like with popcorn.
Yeah, but I also follow like local cases that catch my attention. Or I used to live in Gainesville, Florida. So there's some cases there I've followed too online. And I have my friends who I'll text. I'll be like, oh my gosh, this happened in this case. Did you hear? Did you see? They're like, oh my gosh, Sarah.
You're like, this is my special interest. Leave me alone.
Are we friends or not? Jeez. Sarah, are you currently binge watching or listening to or reading anything amazing that we should put in our queue? Like our Netflix queue, our Audible queue, our Libby queue, our iTunes?
Not really. A lot of it's based on like watching live court right now. There's not a live case that Emily's following.
Book recommendation, live court.
Live court.
The Donna Adelson case from Florida, the whole Charlie Adelson, Donna Adelson. If you go look at that case, like that is a whole reality TV show in and of itself. Like it's sad, but it's quite interesting. Yeah, it's like reality TV, but real life. It's so interesting to watch. And the audacity of some of these people is quite interesting as well. Anyway, legal stuff, cult stuff. I'm so interested in like figuring out how all of this works sometimes or how people think this is okay.
I get that. I'm like, but why?
Right. But don't talk to me about your feelings.
This is shocking that Sarah said yes to come on here. I'm like, but how do you feel emotionally about that, though? No.
Did you see her face? She was like, why would you ask?
For everybody listening, Sarah just looked like she was about to, she was looking for a garbage can to, very uncomfortable. Follow-up question, Sarah. What's your best parenting hack? Like, we know that the same trick doesn't work all the time, but like, is anything cool working really well right now?
I don't think I have one necessarily. Like the challenge with a 12-year-old is I just try to show interest in some of the things he's interested in, even though like maybe I don't want to hear about it, like Minecraft, but like that's where he's at. Or I try to find shared stuff. Like right now, as a family, we're watching Tournament of Champions, like the cooking show, and he likes it and we like it. So it's a nice like kind of time together. Or we love playing Mario Kart.
Oh, are you good? Do you beat him?
Yes.
Thank God.
We're not nice to each other.
No, yeah.
I just want to make sure that, you're not letting anybody win.
I'm here to show you.
Yes. No, we're very competitive. And so, like, just trying to keep that line of communication open right now, I feel like is the most important because I have, like, a teenager. It's not like with a 2-year-old.
And you're like, yeah, I get it. Like,
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different now.
Yes.
Okay, this next question is bordering on feelings related. Okay, Emily?
It's adjacent. It's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. What is one way that you are going to show yourself some radical love today? Like, let's not call it self-care. It's bigger than that. What are you doing?
I talked to my therapist about this on Tuesday because I'm like, they're going to ask me this.
Oh, we made it to therapy? Oh, there we go. We retire. We made it into Sarah's therapy session.
But one of the things I am doing today is my first piano lesson. I've been wanting to take piano lessons since forever. I actually sang like in a choir.
Uh-huh.
And I've started doing that again, which has been a lot of fun. But I am starting to take piano lessons so I can kind of learn more about music. And I've always wanted to. So
Wow, that's really incredible. I hope that it's okay for me to announce this for the very first time on the I'm One podcast that at the upcoming conference in LA, Sarah Kotranza is going to be on a baby grand piano. I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. She's at registration. Sarah will be there.
And that was the last podcast episode we ever had.
There will be a board choir performance in a little bit.
That'd be funny.
Sarah, that is so cool. We are never too old to learn something new. I learned how to ski at 30 after snowboarding my whole life. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've wanted to do it since I was a kid. There's no time limit. Just because I'm 41 doesn't mean I can't start something new.
Mm-hmm.
Or see if I actually like it or how it's going to go. I mean, I started singing again and I wasn't sure how that would go and I love it. It's the one time my brain can be quiet because I'm I can't think about other things when I'm trying to focus on what I'm singing and focus on the conductor and focus on all the different parts of it. There's no extra space. It's almost like my meditation in a way.
You can't be what was the defendant thinking in that moment?
No,
I had no clue what the defendant was thinking. Because you're
I knit a lot, as you all know, but I can do a lot of things while knitting. So.
Yeah. Oh, man. Mm-hmm.
So, although knitting helps me focus, it's not my quiet time. I found music is my quiet time, so I enjoy that.
That's great. Emily, do you want to ask the next one?
Ooh, can I? Okay.
I know you love asking this question.
What is one thing that today you could jump into a time machine and go back and say to pre-recovery you? And follow-up question, what time machine? Go.
I still deal with perfectionism, right? Needing to be 100% better. But that's not a thing. And it's okay to be human and it's okay to not get everything right. You don't have to. And people don't actually expect that of you. You just expect it of yourself.
Yep.
That's why other people, when they make mistakes, they're fine with it. And you're like, how did they do that? It's because they don't expect themselves to be perfect.
I am going to ask a follow-up question. When you realize that you have missed a stitch, do you go back and redo it?
Depends.
Okay.
It really depends. I don't need my knitting to be perfect at all. There's a lot that have mistakes. And it depends on how easy or challenging it is to fix.
So in a situation like that, you can weigh it. You're not I have to fix it. You're is it worth
the effort and time? Yeah. Last year's Helene shawl has a huge, one of the pieces is completely different size than the other two. And I'm I don't care.
Oh.
I'm not doing that again. So it's just going to be a little wonky and that'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, we also like to make sure that everybody on the podcast is staying hydrated because we're moms and we want to check in on people. How do you take your water? Bubbles, no bubbles, ice, room temperature, flavor? Tell us.
All of the above.
Oh.
It depends on the situation.
Yes.
If bubbles are available, bubbles will happen. Typically ice water. But also if I'm talking or singing, no ice, room temperature. So then it doesn't make my throat cold.
Also, so you don't have to burp a lot?
Well, there's that too, yes.
Oh my gosh. Awkward. Choir concert. Burp.
Right.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So right now, room temperature, but it just depends on the time of day and what's available.
Way to keep yourself hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
I am One podcast approved. Well done, Sarah. Okay. Sarah, if anybody would like to get a hold of you, can they get a hold of you? Would you prefer them to not get a hold of you?
Don't call me. We'll call you.
There is not a wrong answer here.
I have a PSI email, so it's skotranza@postpartum.net. So people can feel free to get a hold of me there. That's a great way.
Great. We'll drop that in the show notes. So if anybody wants to get in touch with Sarah, shoot her an email.
Tell her we sent you.
Yeah. She may or may not respond. I don't know. I'm kidding. What I'm saying is, of course, you would respond to them.
I would.
If we sent them, I don't know. Shady characters. Just kidding. Emily, would you like to take us out?
I would love to.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. I love that we both came full circle on this because when the organization that we were volunteering with
long ago stopped doing what it was doing, there was this moment for a lot of us where we were like, is there still a place for me? And we didn't know. None of us knew that there literally already was a space at PSI. And I love that we are both here together and that we both went on that journey and have decided to stick with it because there is more work to do.
100%.
Thank you for being here and for doing all the things.
And for letting us ask about your feelings and stuff, Sarah.
Oh, no, this has been great.
Thanks for tuning in to the I Am One podcast. Check out today's show notes where we'll drop links to all the important things that we mentioned in this episode. Please consider sharing about I Am One on social media and following and rating our show wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. It only takes a minute of your time and, well, that'll help our collective mission of bringing resources and local support to folks worldwide. From everyone here at PSI, thanks again for listening.